So our NAFO drone campaign has just concluded. It ended at midnight on Christmas Day, at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So I don't know about you, Greg. I'm a little tired, but this was a really, really good endeavor, and I think a lot of good was done here. So I'm thrilled about what has just transpired. I didn't get to wear some of my hats. I had this one, which was what we started with. I had the green one, which we told me not to do, even though my wife got it. I had this one, which I thought was a nice little extra hit with the bells. I had this one, which was I think a little bit too girly for me with the sequins. So I'm going to give that back to my daughter. And then your traditional Santa hat. So I was
Let's leave that
prepared
one.
for a
Let's
long.
leave that one.
I was prepared for a long haul.
Well, I'll
So
tell
let's
you.
talk about what just happened here and
Well,
and what has transpired over the last 4 days.
well, just so everyone knows, I did as I promised. I wore the same shirt every day. Praise.
No, nobody was asking you to do that. I
No,
don't think your wife was
this was my
excited about that
Ukrainians
either.
out there are very sometimes superstitious on the fronts, and certain
Uh-huh.
clothes get certain results. You wear the same clothes, so I'm glad to wear
I'm
this.
asking you on behalf of your wife after this video to go take a shower.
It's going to go straight to the laundry. But I will say this, and we'll jump in with just a little bit of information here, and basically a thank you guys. You blew us away, the wonderful
Mhm.
community. I was talking to a couple of guys last night, and they said, Greg, do you know why people responded so quickly to you and Professor Gertis? I said, yeah, I think I do. He says, well, let me give you my opinion. He says, you guys have wonderful communities that really care. B,
Mhm.
the worldwide community that stands for Ukraine, whether it's through you guys or others, really cares. But Greg,
Mhm.
additionally, you need to remember that you actually are going there and you
Mhm.
do a campaign. You're getting ready to get on the airplane next week. And in a couple of weeks from that, you're going to be with this 54th group. And it gives people a confidence that they can give and then actually see where it goes and get a thank you. And it just gives confidence. So, whatever category you fall in, I've been receiving so many emails where people were saying, Greg, you and Prof, we just appreciate you giving us a platform and an avenue. Thank you for how you do it, actually. Do a project, close it, deliver it, find another one, and do it. We appreciate that. So it's not open and ended. So wherever you fall, we say thank you very much.
Yeah,
To get
I
to the
mean we're
totals, Prof,
we're
here you
we're blown
go.
away by this too because I mean look at that number. That's that's crazy. I was laughing to myself like not like involuntarily when I was seeing the numbers go up after the first day. We were already, I think it was 26 hours after we were at double the actual goal. And so because we didn't know how that would work with drones. Like last year, we thought when we were starting this with gauze and tourniquets, we thought, okay, people want to give to that, and we're blown away by that too. But then we were very specific about drones, and that's part of that is just my inordinate interest in drones as a technological force multiplier on the battlefield and what drones can do. And here we're looking at reconnaissance just to protect these guys, and that's why we were talking about Guardian Angel, right? I mean, that
Hmm.
was the whole concept behind this. But wow, 4 days, and there we are,
Yeah,
one
our
hundred
goal was
forty-one thousand dollars.
30,500 drones or $30,500. And we honestly, guys, God is our witness. We discussed privately before we agreed to do this with NAFO, January 1st. We
Yeah, we
wanted
said,
it
well, we got to keep it going until January 1st,
because
one way
that's what
or the other.
I'm heading to Ukraine January 1st. January 1st. And I got an early morning text message the next day from Prof goes, wow, there are some good people that trust us or a good community that loves Ukraine, and we're so thankful for it. So, guys, you know that we
Yeah,
then
yeah.
adjusted the
In that
campaign.
email, I was saying, or that text, I was saying, "Hey, Greg, do you know any other units?"
But we're
Because
going to learn something about that. This is so important, guys. You have you're getting ready in just a couple of minutes to know how important what we all did together is going to be, like you said, Prof, force multiplied. So 30,500 was the goal of bringing in about 27 of these reconnaissance drones. We then
Mhm.
extended it, and we set a deadline for midnight Christmas Eve, because that allows then the project to close, the processes to happen, to get the drones delivered to these guys, because I'm going to go to them. I already know who I'm meeting. I know
Mhm.
where I'm meeting him. The communications is already in the pipeline. Jania's taking care of it. It's a done deal, guys. So now the
Mhm.
stuff can get there, and I can get there at the same time. So we ended up with 141,471.30. And what's beautiful to me, Prof, is also 1,225
Yeah.
donations.
Yep.
It
That's just, it's wild to my mind. Thank you all. Anybody who's given, great. Even if you didn't give, I mean, if you were just aware and sharing and whatever else, and just, if you can't, I mean, don't feel bad about that. That's okay. But good things are happening here, and we want to share that with you.
The last thing, two things we want to talk about as we say thank you today, and confirm that the project is closed, and these are the numbers. Is this: if you donated the 110 or more, make sure you go back in for your final step. You may have already done it, and request your NAFO patch. You click request, it brings you to this page, and then you request, and you put in your donation amount, and you fill it out. And guys, these this is legit. Do not be afraid to put in your mailing
Yeah.
address. They will mail you your patch, and it will be a treasured possession for you. So thank you for that very
Now, when you
much.
put that in, hold on, go back to that screen.
I
When you
can.
put that in, it's going to ask you like, put in, type in 110
All right,
just for
110.
now, and then click go. And then now it's going to ask you for a screenshot of your receipt. Now they're going
Yes.
to email it to you. And if you can't get that by email, you can go back into your history and look for help 99, and just Google that in your history, and you'll be able to find it. I didn't realize that he emailed me, and I was like, oh man, I didn't request a patch. I brought, and so I needed to go back and do that myself. So yeah, so that's how you do that, and it'll come to you. But you have to do this step in order to get the patch.
There's also a NAFO event happening at the end of January in Ukraine, and I will go to it, Prof, and represent yourself and
Awesome.
myself, meet these people that helped us coordinate this, get some thank yous and all of that from them, and show the community who we were partnering with. So you're going to see all of that. I know there were other campaigns going on for NAFO. Johnny Pierce was doing one. Um, so
Hmm.
there'll be a lot going on there. I will be there as our representative, as our person on the ground, and report that back to the community as well. Our communities, mine and yours. So once again, this is the 54th. Prof asked me, Greg, can you just look one more time into these specific drones and lets the community know what they have donated to? So I
Yep.
did get more information in specifically. Zhenya got the information. Now I'm going to share it with you. So these particular drones are called aerial reconnaissance drones, provide real-time surveillance and intelligence. They do five main things. Number one, they are eyes in the sky. Zhenya has already told you of the range of their reconnaissance ability, between 10 and 15 kilometers, providing nonstop visual inspection of areas to identify enemy troops, weapons, and infrastructure. Life saving. Now, the reason I underlined it nonstop: when we're donating
Yeah.
27 drones, there are limits to how much time they can stay in the air recharging the batteries. We now are donating, the number is north of 120, Professor.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks like if you just do the math, 27 into 30,500. Uh, if you take that same figure and you extrapolate, you're looking at about 125. But let's say north of 120, just to be conservative. I never want to overstate. If I can stay safely, it's probably north of 120.
I have been out with many drone units and will be out with more. Um, and it's interesting how they work. When they're out, they're getting to secure positions to launch these drones, and they will have them lined up in succession with the batteries, with the
Hmm.
other stuff I don't want to talk about for safety and antennas and radar jamming and all of that stuff. And then they line them up, and they're zinging them, zinging them, zinging them. So what we did was we increased it really to a swarm. It gives them the ability to be in the air more, saving more lives and helping Ukraine do very good things on the battlefield. The second thing they do is targeting. These things are artillery correction masters. And I know we're talking about life-saving angels in the sky, but guys, think about the safety for the Ukrainian artillery units. This is a mechanized brigade. that can visually see 10 kilometers and say, hey, you're 50 meters to the left on that strike. Go to the right 50 meters. That's what they're doing. Third, they do damage assessment, continual inspection of infrastructure and civilian areas. Many times these drones are even helped with extraction of civilians who are coming out of very dangerous areas. Fourthly, strategic provocation. These drones can be flown over enemy forces with intention to provoke a response. These drones, because of their camera systems and their specialization for reconnaissance, do have better ability to get safely closer to enemy positions, and sometimes they use them for strategic provocations to reveal positions. And finally, a big part of what we are so caring for is the medical evacuations or the evacuation of fallen heroes, 200s and 300s specifically, 200s referring to those that have given their lives on the battlefield, 300s referring to those that are wounded on the battlefield. And I can tell you, every day, these drones are used to recover the fallen and the wounded. So this is an incredible Christmas present for the 54th, for the Ukrainian army, and I can't wait to get there and share this goodness with all of you in Professor Gertis's community and my community. We would just say, before I throw it back to Prof, thank you. Here's some soldiers. There's Zhenya. Threw Prof in here. The guy between my shoulder and Prof's head is actually Vadim, and he's from the 54th. I'll be seeing him. He'll come on camera and talk right to you. So we thank you for your support. This has been an incredible success.
Yeah, that's awesome. When you were talking about the strategic deterrence kind of thing, like going at them, the fourth point that you were making, I was thinking about we've talked about with Ukrainian soldiers saying, "Look, we're pinned down. I mean, there's drones overhead all the time. We can't go outside." Same kind of thing. You could actually save a lot of problems if you can give them enough reasons to realize, "Oh, those are drones there. We got to keep ourselves down." So. So even if they're not, big combat kind of drones, they can still have a chilling effect on enemy activity, let alone the eyes in the sky or being able to see where, harm is coming from or that sort of thing.
People have already been asking in volume, to be quite honest, with emails through my website. Greg, what's the next project? Let's start one right now. It's critical for Ukraine. Let's start one right now. I don't know. When I get there, Professor and I will meet. I'll meet with some commanders and Zhenya and our team, and we'll find the most critical need. But you just triggered something in my mind right there. I can remember Pete telling me, Greg, I can't lift my head out of the hole at times.
Can't go outside.
When I do,
right.
It sounds like a swarm of wasp and be zoo, 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 zoo. But he says, the only time I can come off my position is when the drones our reconnaissance drones are telling us all clear. You're all clear. You've got 30 minutes. Let's rotate. So these things are good. That parallels with other things that you guys and Prof's community, my community have provided. And that is our customized batteries for the radio systems and our extended antennas for the radio systems. When you start talking about reconnaissance drones, extended life batteries for the soldiers in the front, and extended range antennas, and you network all that together, we're really putting a shield of protection around those soldiers. So,
and it was only safe in that scenario that Pete was talking about because the Russians had to rotate their drones back because they were out of time. What we were about to provide was this force, but it would have had to rotate back. And now you've multiplied it 27, what you've multiplied it 5 times ish. I mean, that's pretty 4 times, 5 times. I mean, that's a very different scenario. So y'all did a world of good here for the 54th.
And we say thank you. And, I would just close with this. I can just imagine the Russian soldiers on the other side, Prof, that are battling the 54th. And I can tell you it's in a very, very dangerous and hot place. They're probably going to be sitting over there in a few weeks going, my goodness, how many drones do these people have? It just keeps coming and coming and coming. Guys, let that put a smile on your face. We're making a big difference. Thank you, Prof.
Well, no, thank you. And thanks to everybody here who has been involved in the project. This has been outstanding. I mean, just amazing that it went as quickly as it did. And like as Greg was saying, we're trying to be as efficient as possible. So we don't want to just do a project just to do a project. After we hit the goal, the NAFO guys came back and said, "Hey, you can do a truck too." And we're like, "Nope, no trucks. Not that trucks are bad. Trucks are useful, but we're looking at this because of this particular force multiplication effort." And so the next thing we want to do is find out again, what is the most important, valuable thing that they can possibly have. And then we'll look toward that.
Yeah. So be looking for that, guys. In January, we like to close something and finish it and then start something. So just be here on Prof's channel, my channel, and believe me, there will be another project, but it will be direct the most critical need for a unit in a critical place.
In the meantime, Greg is going to launder that sweatshirt and
I
take
am
a
going to
shower.
launder it before I pack it to take it to Ukraine next week. Maybe.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Prof. Appreciate your community and my community. Thank you, guys. It's just, we're humbled and blessed. And I know Ukraine is jumping with joy. I'm telling you. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm. If I was in their positions and this just happened, I'd be ecstatic. I'm just, wow. All right. Well, thank you, Greg, and thanks for hosting as we're doing this dual stream. And thank you to everybody who has been part of this. We really appreciate it. I mean, when people say we couldn't have done it without you, that's correct. We actually couldn't. We were just the conduit to help you be able to do what we're all trying to do. So thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Once again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and stay tuned. Much more to come.